Thanks for joining us on the CBN News Channel. I'm Charlene Israel.
And I'm Ephraim Graham. Three new arrests in the Boston Marathon suspect Johar Tsarnaev are now being charged in the case. They're accused of removing evidence, lying to investigators, and obstructing justice in the aftermath of the attack. It's a cover-up that started with a text message. The FBI says two 19-year-olds, Azmat Zayakov and Dayas Karabayev, recognized their college friend, Johar Tsarnaev, from the surveillance photos on television. One of the teens texted Tsarnaev to ask if he was the bomber. His response, LOL, laughing out loud. Then he texted, "Come to my room and take whatever you want." According to the FBI, the two friends took a backpack with hollowed-out fireworks and a computer. They then threw them in a dumpster behind their apartment. Wednesday, their lawyers were in federal court, denying they did anything wrong.
They did not intentionally or knowingly destroy evidence.
He has cooperated fully with the authorities and looks forward to the truth coming out in this case.
The two young men from Kazakhstan are in the United States on student visas, but federal law enforcement officials say Tzayakov's visa was terminated in January after he was academically dismissed from the University of Massachusetts, Dartmouth. Despite not having a valid student visa, he was still allowed to re-enter the U.S. Officials say the two are not accused of actually being involved in the attack, but court papers show one suspect told investigators Tsarnaev had bragged about knowing how to make a bomb nearly a month before the Boston attacks. The third person arrested, Robel Philippos, was a high school friend of Tsarnaev. He's charged with lying to investigators. Tsarnaev's friends face 5 to 8 years in prison if convicted and a $250,000 fine. Meanwhile, police and lawmakers across the U.S. are pushing to have more surveillance networks set up on their streets. Surveillance video helped identify the Boston Marathon bombing suspects. Coming up later, we'll show you how organizations plan to use surveillance to help make future races safer.
Today is the annual National Day of Prayer. People are gathering from around the country to pray in Washington and venues across America. Shirley Dobson is the chairwoman of the National Day of Prayer Task Force. She says divine intervention is the only answer to America's many problems.
American people are very scared. That's what we're hearing in our office. And so for that reason, they realize that government doesn't have the answer, business or education or military. Those are all important centers of power, but they don't have the answers. The solution is God. The solution is turning back to the biblical understanding of what this country was founded on.
And to find a National Day of Prayer event in your area, just go to cbnnews.com.
The Pentagon says soldiers can be prosecuted for sharing their faith. The Defense Department released the statement to Fox News, which reads, "Religious proselytizing is not being permitted within the Department of Defense, and punishment can include court-martial." This comes after Pentagon officials met with Mickey Weinstein of the Military Religious Freedom Foundation. Weinstein says even the presence of a Bible on a desk can amount to proselytizing. Retired General Jerry Boykin told CBN News he believes there's an agenda to get Christians out of the military.
It's not just about officers or commanders sharing their faith. It's about every individual soldier, sailor, airman, or Marine being able to exercise their faith. And you know, the First Amendment talks about the free exercise thereof, speaking of our faith. And this will destroy our military because mom and dad out in Central America, the central part of the United States, are not going to want Johnny or Janie to join the military knowing that they would not be able to exercise their faith at the same time that they are protecting those constitutional rights to do so.
In a related matter, an effort to block Pastor Greg Laurie from praying at the Pentagon today has failed. Gay groups said he shouldn't be allowed to speak because of his stance against same-sex marriage, but the Army chaplain will not rescind the invitation.
The Obama administration is talking about giving weapons to the rebels in Syria. That comes after reports of more chemical weapons attacks by the regime. President Obama called the use of chemical weapons a red line in the Syrian conflict. Israel used that same phrase about Iran. Now the world is watching to see if either country will back up their warnings. Chris Mitchell has more.
Syrian opposition groups released this video showing what they say are some of the dozens of people killed or sickened in a chemical weapons attack by the Assad government. Back in March, President Obama issued a warning.
To use potential weapons of mass destruction on civilian populations crosses another line, and that is going to be a game changer.
Since then, British, French, and Israeli intelligence all concluded that the Assad government did conduct a chemical attack. And last week, Defense Secretary Chuck Hagel agreed. But the White House is reluctant to call it a game changer for the U.S. in Syria.
Now, we are working to establish credible and corroborated facts to build on this intelligence assessment in order to establish a definitive judgment as to whether or not the president's red line has been crossed, and to inform our decision-making about next steps.
Israeli Middle East analyst Jonathan Spire says both U.S. friends and foes in the region are watching.
It's now very apparent that the regime has used chemical weapons on a number of occasions, which means that if the United States now fails to act on its clear red line, then of course conclusions will be drawn in that regard by all other players in the region, including some players very hostile to the United States, such as Iran.
One option in the U.S. arsenal: strikes from the air or sea on the Syrian chemical weapons facilities and production plants scattered throughout the country. But that is a subject the administration won't address in the media. President Obama's red line on Syria is a big enough problem for the Middle East, but here in Jerusalem, Prime Minister Netanyahu has to deal with an even more dangerous red line, the one leading to a nuclear Iran.
A red line should be drawn right here. Before Iran completes the second stage of nuclear enrichment necessary to make a bomb.
Just months after Netanyahu's red line speech to the UN last fall, former Israeli military intelligence chief Amos Yadlin said that Iran has now crossed that red line, or is at least right at the threshold. The U.S. red line involves Iran actually building a weapon, while the Israeli red line tries to prevent Iran from getting nuclear capability, and before it reaches the breakout stage of producing a weapon.
The red line has been crossed. A lot now depends on the Iranian decision in this regard, and certainly Israel will be watching very, very carefully.
So, while Western governments debate what they might do, Israel is strengthening its defenses in the Golan Heights, on a border with Syria that has been mostly quiet for 40 years, because the red lines being talked about now in Washington appear to lead straight to Israel's borders. Chris Mitchell, CBN News, Jerusalem.
A Korean American has been sentenced to 15 years hard labor in a North Korea prison. Kenneth Bae of Washington State was arrested in November near the border of China and Russia. He's accused of committing hostile acts against the state. Friends and colleagues say Bae is a devout Christian. He frequently traveled to North Korea to feed orphans. Bae's sentencing comes amid heightened tensions between North Korea and the U.S. He is the sixth American detained since 2009. One leading analyst says North Korea is using Bae as bait to get a high-profile American to visit the country.
The Justice Department is appealing a judge's decision to lift all age limits on the so-called morning after birth control pill. The federal government says the judge exceeded his authority. They want his decision suspended while the appeal is underway. U.S. District Judge Edward Corman of New York mandated that emergency contraception be available on store shelves to anyone, no matter how young they are. He said drugs like the Plan B pill should be sold just like aspirin.
That appeal came right after the FDA announced teenage girls can now buy Plan B from drugstore shelves. Girls as young as 15 will be able to buy the morning after pill without a prescription. That has some parents upset because they can be left out of an important decision for their young daughters. George Thomas has more.
The FDA says the contraceptive pill known as Plan B One Step can now sit on drugstore shelves instead of keeping it locked up behind the pharmacy counter. Under new guidelines, girls will have to prove they're 15 or older before they can buy the drug. Previously, the pill was sold without prescription to women 17 and older. The FDA's decision has drawn criticism from social conservatives who say parents should be involved in major medical decisions involving young girls, not government.
It's adding to the green light that we're giving to kids for risky behavior.
Last year, parents in New York City were outraged to learn about a controversial birth control program in public schools there, giving Plan B pills to girls as young as 14.
What we're finding here is government trying to usurp the role of the parent.
Plan B is also known as the morning after pill. It's supposed to reduce the chances of pregnancy after a person has unprotected sex. But Dr. Grossman and others say it's not foolproof against pregnancy and doesn't prevent sexually transmitted diseases.
There can still be a pregnancy. You can still get herpes lifelong, other STDs, HIV. These can all occur as a result of one poor decision.
Critics also worry that allowing Plan B for younger women will lead to more risky behavior and likely lead to more pregnancies and abortions.
You end up with actually more sexual behavior, and you end up with higher risk behavior, and you end up with an increase in STDs, and you have no change in the number of pregnancies and no change in the number of abortions.
The bottom line with social conservatives on Plan B?
It is a further endorsement of this philosophy of kids know best. We're going to leave it up to them.
George Thomas, CBN News.
The president's health care plan has hit yet another snag, this time in his home state. Illinois health officials say only 6 insurance carriers have applied to sell 165 health policies in the online insurance market. They were hoping to receive nearly 3 times the number of applicants. That insurance exchange is a critical piece of Obamacare because it was supposed to increase competition and decrease cost. The Illinois numbers raise concerns the trend will hold true across the country, leading to higher costs for health insurance.
A new poll reveals a huge number of Americans are not aware that the healthcare overhaul, commonly known as Obamacare, is actually the law of the land. The Kaiser Family Foundation study shows 42% of Americans did not know that the Affordable Health Care Act is still law. Of those, 12% believe the law was repealed by Congress, and another 7% think it's been overturned by the Supreme Court. The remaining 23% say they don't know enough to say what the status of the law is.
Coming up, safety steps, how marathon organizers are racing to make sure their events are protected in the wake of the Boston bombings.
Today we're on a field trip to discover what inflation is doing to our paper money. In this hand is a $20 bill, and in this hand is a $20 US gold coin. They used to have the same buying power, but how much can they buy today? In this first basket is what my $20 bill buys: milk, bread, peanut butter, and jelly. And here's what one $20 gold coin will buy: 6 baskets full, worth nearly $2,000, almost 100 times more food, simply by owning gold dollars instead of paper dollars. History shows that the gold coins have been the best way to beat the rising cost of living. So class, the moral is that unless you want to live on peanut butter and jelly sandwiches in the future, you should turn some paper dollars into gold coins now. How and why is explained in a new book, The Great Debasement. Call the number below for a totally free copy. And that's the simple truth.
Help! If an emergency happened right now, you can have help at the push of a button with Medical Alert.
Remember when I took that fall, Mary?
Oh, yes, that was terrible.
Yes, it was.
Help!
And I thought, what if you hadn't been there? I ordered my Medical Alert the next day.
I can't describe how safe I feel now with my Medical Alert. You didn't know I was wearing it, did you?
Medical Alert is easy to install, waterproof, and covers you inside your home and out.
It helps me feel safe from fires, break-ins.
And of course, a Medical Alert. And if you don't have a home phone, don't worry. They have that covered.
There's always help at the push of a button. Don't wait till you need it.
Get Medical Alert for less than $1 a day. There are no long-term contracts. Order now and get your second button free. Call for your free brochure.
For your free Medical Alert system with second button free, call 800-575-8507.
Hello? Is this thing on? Hey, kids, do you love games? And do you love discovering things? Well, do ya?
Then you're gonna love this. It's the new free Superbook Kids Bible app.
You can play games, watch videos, find answers to your questions, and a whole lot more. The new Superbook Kids Bible app. Free downloads available on iTunes now.
Investigators are working to make sure justice is served to the suspects in the Boston bombing. But what does that attack mean for the future of marathons?
The running world is faced with a tough new reality. A race can be a target for terrorism. Caitlin Burke has more.
Security is something that at some point we all take for granted. The Boston Marathon bombings mark the first time in history that a U.S. marathon has directly been targeted, bringing security into the spotlight.
It does take the innocence away because, you know, in the back of your mind, you're always going to be thinking, what could happen or this could happen.
Virginia Beach native Chad Wilkins ran in this year's Boston Marathon. His family left the spot where the first bomb went off only 15 minutes before it exploded.
It was just by the grace of God that he didn't set the bomb off while my family was still there.
As the running community continues to process the bombings, race organizers are working on ways to improve security, determined to help their runners feel safe again.
J&A Racing puts on many of the road races here in Virginia Beach. They recently brought in an FBI agent to advise them on making their future races as safe as possible.
I just think that for any runner that's out there, I think that, you know, to know that any of our races that J&A organizes, the runner is always the first thought that we have in the back of our mind. So we will always make sure our races are secure, that the areas are safe, and we'll make it fun for them.
Some of those increased safety measures will include more police presence at the end of the race, a more secure bag checking policy, and surveillance cameras set up along the course and at the finish.
Increased security or no, runners say that the threat of terrorism won't keep them from racing, and many are already looking forward to running next year in Boston.
Running is sort of a foundation or bedrock in our lives. It's what we do. Running isn't just sort of a sport, it becomes a lifestyle for a lot of people. And this certainly isn't going to affect that with most dedicated runners.
I saw something that was written that said that don't mess with runners who pay to run 26.2 miles on their day off. So I think runners are strong. I think most of them are educated. It's a tight-knit group, and I just don't think that it's a group really that you mess with, because they will make it through it.
Caitlin Burke, CBN News.
Up next, NFL legend Kurt Warner talks about the motivation behind his new reality show. Experience the moment with the host who has his own comeback story after this.
Attention sleep apnea patients. Are you tired of the expense and hassle of getting your CPAP and BiPAP supplies? Are you fed up with dealing with ill-fitting, leaking, or worn-out masks and straps? Are you worried about the effects that unsanitary tubes, cushions, and filters have on your health? If you said yes to any of these questions, Allied Medical Supply Network has the solution to your problems. You could qualify to have your supplies regularly delivered right to your door at little or no cost to you. That's right, no more inconvenience, no worn-out masks and straps, no more unsanitary equipment, just restful sleep. Call Allied Medical Supply Network today to determine if you may qualify to receive your fresh, brand-name supplies at little or no cost. Don't delay. Call us now to see if you are eligible to save money on regular delivery of your CPAP and BiPAP supplies. Call 1-800-815-9947. That's 1-800-815-9947. Or go to cpapsupplyhelpline.com.
Announcing an important breakthrough in healthcare that can benefit everyone. If you or anyone you love needs affordable health insurance, regardless of a pre-existing medical condition, call Quick Insurance 123 today and get the immediate relief you deserve. Quick Insurance 123 was created to provide affordable health insurance to all uninsured Americans, with or without pre-existing conditions. This is not a discount card. This is a real insurance program that lets you choose from many affordable health plans. with access to doctors, hospitals, emergency services, and more. So call the number on your screen now and get the health coverage you need just for calling. As a special bonus, we'll send you a free prescription savings card that could save you up to 85% on your prescriptions. That's right. You could save up to 85% on your prescriptions just for calling. Call Quick Insurance 123 to find out how you can get affordable health insurance and receive your free prescription savings card just for calling. Don't wait. Getting a free quote is as easy as 1, 2, 3. Call today.
So many people feel like their lives have passed them by before they could do the things they dreamed of doing. But pro football star Kurt Warner says it's not too late.
Warner has a new reality show. It is called The Moment. It is about giving people a second chance at their dreams. Wendy Griffith recently sat down with Warner in Phoenix, and he says the theme of the show hits close to home.
Everybody has a dream. I'm Kurt Warner.
So great to meet you.
Very nice to meet you. I'm here to give you a second chance. I want to give you an opportunity to live out your dream. How's it sound?
This is so unbelievable.
Come on.
It was amazing.
Kurt Warner is taking 9 hopefuls on the adventure of a lifetime. The journey involves giving each contender a second chance to fulfill their biggest dream.
I'm here to give you a second chance to become a professional photographer for Sports Illustrated.
One dream.
You're not getting it. This is Sports Illustrated.
Clearly, I have work to do. The dreams are as diverse as the people. From a professional sports photographer to a symphony conductor to a race car driver, 9 people will be put to the test to see if they have what it takes, and it won't be easy.
Just gotta toughen up and do it.
This is what I've been trying for so many years.
Kurt Warner knows all about second chances. He famously went from stocking grocery store shelves in Iowa to leading the St. Louis Rams to a Super Bowl victory just a few short years later. In the mid-90s, Kurt went to camp with the Green Bay Packers, confident his NFL career was about to take off. But just 5 weeks later, he was cut. He tried other teams, even other leagues.
And basically everybody said, we're not interested. I didn't want to give up on my dream, but I knew I had to take a job. I had to pay some bills. And so I took a job stocking shelves at a grocery store. So I'm working all night long. When I would get off, I may get a couple hours of sleep, go work out, make sure that I was still chasing my dream. And then my future wife, Brenda, who had 2 kids, I would help take care of those kids while she went to nursing school.
While making just $5.50 an hour in that grocery store, Warner got the opportunity to play arena football in Iowa.
So I did that for 3 years, the whole time trying to find a way and trying to open a door to get back into the NFL. Although I had the dream, it was one of those things where everybody around me was saying, okay, at some point you have to give this up. At some point you have to realize this isn't going to happen. They don't give 27-year-old individuals a chance to play in the NFL. It just doesn't happen, especially at the quarterback position.
What a remarkable comeback for Kurt Warner.
But apparently Coach Dick Vermeil of the St. Louis Rams didn't agree and gave Kurt a second chance at his dream of playing in the NFL.
He said that, there was something different, something that he noticed about me that he wanted to give me a chance. And so here I am, 27 years old. I'm a rookie in the National Football League. And I guess, as they say, the rest is history.
Warner would go on to be considered one of the best undrafted players of all time, following a 12-year career regarded as one of the greatest stories in NFL history.
When you're going through it and you're going, why can't I be the #1 draft pick? And why can't I get my opportunity? Why can't everything play out like I had always hoped it would? But now, after things have played out, and I see how God's used this story, I wouldn't change a thing.
Warner says the fact that he was blessed to get a second chance makes him the perfect host for the moment.
Everybody needs someone to step in and give them, a chance to chase their dream, or in a lot of cases, a second chance because life has taken them in a different direction. It's letting people know you don't have to give up. It's not too late to be what you've always wanted to be, and I'm a perfect example of that.
He says the whole theme of second chances is something those of us who serve a God of second chances can identify with.
When I pick up the Bible, that's everybody's story in the Bible. That's what it's all about, is that it's God taking people that everybody says no way, can't happen, no chance, and doing amazing things with them. I got your back. You got this.
Thank you. And that's the hope of each person featured in The Moment. They'll have a chance to train with an expert mentor in their dream career, prepare for an interview, and hopefully land the job of a lifetime. Kurt, what do you hope people will take away from The Moment?
I hope and pray that the show is that knock on everybody's door. That as they watch that show, their eyes are open to what life could be, and no longer are they going to allow things to hold them back, that they're truly going to chase after whatever it is they want in life.
Wendy Griffith, CBN News, Phoenix.
And you can watch The Moment on the USA Network Fridays at 11 p.m. And you can find more information about the show at cbnnews.com.
We'll be right back.
When you're driving along and your cell phone rings, do your eyes instantly go off the road? Then you need to get a grip. Hi, David Jones here with the new GripGo, the most versatile hands-free mount that will instantly grip any phone for safe driving. Just attach the suction cup to your windshield or dash, and GripGo grabs your phone ultra fast. Then it peels right off. And don't worry, there's no sticky residue left behind. The 360-degree pivoting mount allows you to always get the perfect viewing angle. It's even strong enough to grab and hold this expensive smartphone out the window. Yet it comes right off with ease. That's the advantage of GripGo. You can get the amazing GripGo with dashboard mount for only $14.95. We'll send you a second kit free. Just pay separate processing and handling. Get 2 complete GripGo systems for just $14.95.
To order GripGo for $14.95 plus processing and handling, call 1-800-709-5259 or order online at getgripgo.com.
Jim is 38, mortgage, married, 3 great kids. He wants to protect his family with a $500,000 term life insurance policy. What do you think it'll cost him? $100 a month? 60? 40? Actually, none of the above. Jim can get a $500,000 policy from a highly rated insurer for under $19 a month. His secret? SelectQuote. SelectQuote is impartial. They'll comparison shop the pick of insurance companies like these to give you a choice of your best prices. SelectQuote has great savings on term life for women, too. Jim's wife, Deidre, can get a $500,000 policy for under $16 a month. SelectQuote has helped make term life insurance affordable for hundreds of thousands of people since 1985. How about you? Just call this number or go to SelectQuote.com. SelectQuote. We shop, you save.
Well, if you were among the millions worldwide who watched the Bible on the History Channel, you'll be glad to know the record-breaking miniseries could be headed to movie theaters.
That's right. Executive producer Mark Burnett tells The Hollywood Reporter a movie version is being edited right now.
I'm going to the Father, but I will always be with you.
Burnett says it is a 3-hour version of the story of Jesus, and there are many, many offers from theaters globally. He adds the movie will focus heavily on the resurrection. It could be released as early as this fall. In March, more than 13 million viewers watched the debut episode of The Bible. The Bible has already become the fastest-selling miniseries DVD ever. Burnett gives God the credit for its success. And I love it. I love the idea of it going to theaters.
Same here, right?
Awesome.
There.
I'll be right there.
That is going to do it for us on the News Channel.
Hope you'll join us next time. Have a great day. God bless.
If you had a choice between going bald and a full head of hair, which would you choose? Advances in medical science have resulted in the world's first and only permanent solution to hair loss.
Yes!
You wash it, you cut it. It's your own real, naturally growing hair. When it comes to hair restoration, no one in the world has more experience than Bosley. The results look completely natural and are affordable on nearly any budget. But the entire process can't be explained in 60 brief seconds. So to find out more about this clinically proven and permanent solution to hair loss, call now to receive your free no-obligation information kit. It'll answer all of your questions about hair loss and hair restoration. Plus, we'll also send you this $250 gift certificate just for calling. Every day you wait, you're losing more hair. hair, so don't put it off any longer. You owe it to yourself to find out the facts. Choose hair. Choose Bosley.
Call 800-868-9957. That's 800-868-9957.
Introducing the CBN Bible from CBN.com. Now, an easier way to study the Bible and grow in your faith. Highlight your favorite verse. Read separate versions at a glance. Click and read a commentary. Or cross-reference your favorite verse using the Strong's Concordance. All the right tools to study the Bible, all in one place. The CBN Bible, available at cbn.com/Bible or the iTunes App Store.